It's the beginning of another week on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Morayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies. Hello, ladies.
Good morning.
How was your weekend?
Hectic.
Really? What happened?
Yeah, you know we're preparing for boarding house now.
Yes, so she's gone.
Yes.
Oh my God, was it so emotional?
It was emotional. My son cried.
Aww.
He missed his partner.
He was crying.
Nobody to fight
I had
with.
to promise him that he will go in year 5 because you can actually go
She's
from
going to
year
come
5.
back so skinny and like...
I hope, because I was asking the house mistress and said they actually, after food, they give them snacks like 2 times in a day. And I'm like, okay.
But trust me, there'll be a lot of exercise to burn it, trust me.
And the beauty for me is that she has to do her chores. She has to wash her clothes. And unlike some schools that I heard that
washing machine.
They have the washing machine and all of that. So I'm happy.
21st century,
She's gone, we've
laundromat
resumed.
there.
Yeah.
Nice, I'm happy for you. That's good.
But I think they do have laundromats now.
No, they don't want the kids to wash their
But they would do it by
Yeah,
themselves.
yeah.
Yes. So,
How you doing?
I'm good.
How was your
Welcome
trip?
back.
You're gone for a whole week, yay!
Yeah. Seriously, Morayo.
Welcome back.
Don't do it. It's not natural. Don't bother.
What do you mean by that? We actually missed you on the show.
Don't worry, I did not miss myself. I enjoyed the show. I watched as a fan, and people were just giving it to me, so it was fun. Yeah, so I just wanted a break, and I realized that most of the time we just feel like vacation has to be like vacation outside. But like I went to Ibadan for 1 week, and I just rested. Funny enough, as I got to Ibadan on Monday, by Tuesday I had a boil on my eye. That lasted till yesterday. So it was like...
Get a boil on the eye.
I've never had it before. I was taking a picture of it every day. I said to my mother, I said, leave this eye alone.
Eyeball?
Leave like this one. Yes, my lid. So I think that God really wanted me to rest. And if I'd not rested, I'll have still had that boil and I won't be able to be on the show, you know. So it's good. Just listen to your body and rest. Yes, gone just in time.
Your face
Everything
is full.
Divinely arranged. I'm good.
Really?
I did 3 days water therapy. I didn't eat for 3 days. And I did 5 days of just veggies. I only started eating on Saturday. So
Skin is looking it.
yeah, we just
Good.
detox.
Elijah Neemat, how was your weekend?
My weekend was work weekend, but on Sunday, I see the sleep. I slept all through. I wanted to share something that happened in my house. So I went for, you know, the motivating young lawyers on Wednesday, organized by AEC Legal. I must say thank you, Mr. Anuesho, that's the principal of the firm that organized it. Because they gave me one small honorarium. It comes in like a device. It's called the Alexia. That you can connect everything, you tell you what to do, it wakes you up.
Yeah, I've heard of
So I just saw my son, he was looking for his car. My car's missing. My car's missing. I went, Alexia, it's me, Oma. It's me, Oma. Please, do you know where my car is? This is my car. I broke down serious laughter in my house on Sunday. So we kept waiting for Iman to go meet Alexa to ask whether, because you're just to Alexa, can I listen to the news? And you're on to Fox News, you're on to whatever news.
That's good.
So he noticed that we're conversing with this small machine.
So you know where to ask the...
I have my own condition. My car is missing. My car.
That's hilarious.
It was hilarious. Thank you, Mr. Anu. You don't know what you've done for me, I'm telling you.
Alexa is good.
This thing organizes my day now. We have time for news, for reading, everything.
Wow.
I just relax day.
Technology.
Yes, so...
My weekend was fun. Saturday, I think, Jesus Christ, my memory is just crazy. But I had fun. But, yeah?
You're preparing for school now.
Preparing for school. Yes, I went to buy school bags. Remember I was talking about that, and I got some really nice one in the corner. It was crazy. I thought I was going to get at Lagos, but I couldn't understand that Lagos Island. It was just too chaotic.
My husband went to Lagos.
So I went to
shopping.
Ikori. I got some fantastic bags in Ikori. But yesterday, one of my aunties was celebrating Harvest of Evidence, I think, in her church Methodist. So we went there. There's a lot of celebration, a lot of dancing. Yeah. Now, you know me, I can't eat like that now. So
No, I need to shout out to my husband. Mr.
Yeah.
Makodige, I love you, thank you. No, I took a 1 week break just before resumption because I knew that there would be stress from school. And he went to Lagos to shop school bags, school shoes. Like, he sorted the kids out. I got home and I met bag arranged, shoe, sports shoe, everything.
I need a break.
That's good. I need a shout out to them. And a friend, Yinka Fashagwan, celebrated her birthday, so we went there yesterday. It was nice, a nice house party. And the evening, I went to have a dinner meeting with a family, very nice family that I respect.
Cool.
Lovely couple, very amazing couple, and I had fun. So yesterday was packed.
Really
eventful.
eventful
Yesterday it was crazy, crazy. Okay, let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll go through the top stories in the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Right. Thanks for staying with us. We're going to start with The Punch. One killed in South African fresh attack. Federal government begins evacuation. 400 Nigerians ready to return home. Hoodlums insist foreigners must go. Men jailed 7 years for defrauding U.S. consulate. Code of Conduct Bureau to verify Makinde's 48 billion naira assets and others. Kidnappers still holding Siasia's mother 55 days after. Obaseki sacked only Edo commissioner nominated, says Oshomole. I contemplated suicide after leaving office, says ex-AGF Adoki. Rape, Dakolo sues Fatoyinbo, demands apology in newspapers. Sanwo-Olu Abiodun plan tolls on Lagos Ogun roads, and politicians causing fueling religious crisis, says Sultan. Okay, let's start with which one?
The U.S.
Let's start with this U.S. story.
Yes, so these two guys, I want to get their names. Ismaila Adefila and Busari Kabiru defrauded the U.S. consulate of 50 million naira. So what they do is they manipulate the receipts.
Right.
Because they were acting as agents going to pay for visa for applicants. So they manipulate the receipts and give them fake receipts for the B1 and B2 visa applications. So
in 350 days.
350
That's how
applicants.
much they were able to.
I'm telling you, 50 million.
They are making money in that U.S. embassy legitimately.
50 million naira for 350
applicants.
The
U.S. consulate.
So yes, we're going to
350 applications.
Yes.
I wanted to take the Adoke story and so Adoke wrote a book talking about his office and post office persecution. He thinks he suffered. It's called the Price of Service. I think that's the name of the book. Talking about how he felt like committing suicide in front of his house. He described the house like one fine house for
where he went,
for Netherlands. And he wanted to almost jump there. I'm just thinking that some people don't have that luxury. They jump for third mainland, but then it's fine. So
don't trivialize that somebody wanted to commit suicide.
No, we're saying it's an office. When you do your job diligently, persecution comes, you'll be able to face it. He says he kept hearing his name in the front pages on blogs and all that, talking about how...
For something he did not do.
For things he felt he didn't do. But now we are still thinking, you know, at least at AGF, during his time, that was Audu Anka, was able to come out and tell us there's no 9-point-something billion is a fraud. So, you know, people would have tinted him if he doesn't have details.
Let's take the
Let's not get
story.
sentimental. Busola Dakolo has, brought her civil suit against Fatoyinbo, and she's claiming that, including certain other reliefs that she's asking the court, he does a public apology on the pages of newspapers, saying how grievous the damages she suffered due to the rape was. I think people should read it.
Before we run off, our heart goes out to Siasia. His mom, Mrs. Beauty, is still 55 days being kidnapped. And I think that maybe because he's not popular or sort of, we're not bringing it up enough. Because he can't pay the ransom. He can't afford it.
They asked for 70 million. Now they reviewed it to 50 million. And he's saying he doesn't have the kind of money.
He doesn't have it.
Kidnappers would hear that, he's been suspended permanently from the FIFA.
He's going through many crises.
He's going through so much now. This is when the
poor old man is... The old woman is 80.
This is the third kidnap, I think.
400 Nigerians to return as South Africans step up attacks. Candidate arrested for altering JAMB score, and U.S. court frees NNPC of $2.7 billion debt. The Nation. So this Atiku versus Buhari, verdict likely on Friday. Oshomole Obaseki wrong on Edo House. CCB assesses Makinde's 48 billion naira assets. Top 5 banks post 417 billion naira profit in 6 months, and $2.4 billion looted funds traced to Abacha. That's also from the book that you talked earlier by the ex-AGF Adoki. Yes, go ahead, Tope.
So this little girl, Rejoice Modi, has been arrested in Abuja. She got 164 in her JAMB. And after she checked, that was what was showing in her JAMB, a dashboard. So she now found someone through WhatsApp who said they would help her change the score. And she paid the person. The person changed her score to 264. She now had the nerve to complain to the issue a legal complaint saying that the result they gave her was wrong. How come she has 2 results? Because apparently they told her that there's a way they will do it. It will look like JAMB gave her 2 results. If she complains, they'll give her the higher number. So she tendered a legal complaint against JAMB, saying that she got 2 results, 164 and 264. Upon investigation, they found out that our official score was 164. She paid for the 264, and she's been arrested.
Oh, my Lord.
So this desperation, a 19-year-old girl now is...
Why did she raise the funds to pay?
Her father said he had no idea what she was doing, that he just knows that she went to apply.
There has to be a guardian aware of this deal.
Let's take the Oshomole story. Who has that? Baseki, who has that? You have that?
I know, just so many things.
You're not interested, Abi?
Yeah, he wasn't.
Not yet
politics.
interested.
Okay, and the book was Burden of
the
Service. Yes, that was the book for IJ. Moving on now to Vanguard. Xenophobia, leave our country. Armed South Africans order foreigners. Our lives are in danger, says Nigerians. Boko Haram attacks military convoy, carts away cash, arms, and food. It's dangerous to negotiate with bandits, says Horsefall. And $9.6 billion judgment debt. Federal government to push for abrogation of huge cash award. Very interesting article. Should we start with the Boko Haram? Yes, go ahead.
So the Boko Haram fighters, they were on their way from Yobe to Biu, that's in Borno State, for, I think they wanted to, they were carrying materials to their people. Amongst what they had with them was cash, about 15 million naira. They had ammunition, they had food, but then they were attacked. In fact, they ran into an ambush by the Boko Haram insurgents, and then they opened fire. The Boko Haram insurgents were able to take away the 15 million naira that the soldiers had with them. They were able to take away the food, the ammunitions, and everything. So I am wondering if the people who are supposed to be protecting us cannot even protect themselves. Where
if Boko Haram can collect money from military.
From you, money you
Then there's an update on the $9.6 billion judgment, because we have more information that the EFCC found out that both the offices of P&ID in Lagos was in Abuja was a sham. That actually no office like that exists in Maitama, Abuja. And also the office they claim to have in the UK belongs to a law firm. And they are not actually, so it's almost like a non-entity. It's a briefcase company, obviously. And they're just trying to rip the country off of this amount
so
of
they don't have a business currently, and yet they are able to consistently hold the litigation process that has awarded them money without having a company. And they don't even have the kind of, they found out they don't have the kind of money to the $40 million that they're actually claiming they paid. And there's no way that money came from them.
They've spent that money.
A lot of fraud.
So I'm just waiting for the AGF to do the needful, because we have strong evidences now. Let's appeal the
And I hope it doesn't get swept under the carpet. You know, I'm just really hoping at some point, after a week or so...
lose it, obviously. Right now, there's enough evidence to show that there's lack of credibility on the part of the case.
Prosecute the Nigerian end of this deal.
Yes, Nima, that's the real point. Because our own end, we must clean it in a way that this doesn't happen again. There's a case NNPC we just won a case by NNPC against SO from the US, where the US has agreed that we won't be paying
liable
a fund.
2-point-something billion, I think.
It is part of the same cases where there's a contract is made, we did not keep our part of the agreement, then there's an arbitration, Nigeria has to pay for it.
Out of suspicion for fraud, we do not keep our part of the agreement. So sometimes there are frauds involved, and based on that suspicion...
Okay, let's move on now to Daily Trust. 8 months after commissioning a multi-billion-naira Barrow port dormant, armed South African protesters insist foreigners must leave. We're not talking about South Africa yet. We want to talk about the major headline.
Yes. So this Barrow Inland Port was commissioned in January. It was actually awarded to a Chinese company in 2011 to 2012, and then was commissioned. But then funds were not released to carry out the operations, to build and continue. But then it was recommissioned again by our President Buhari in January. Now, if the port is actually functional, it's estimated to provide about 2,000 direct jobs to Nigerians and 2,500 indirect jobs. And it's also help our case of decongesting our trucks from the road and the other ports.
Well, that's good news, but the bad news is that Daily Trust went there to visit.
Yes, it was
nothing was happening.
One of the reasons they gave was the fact that there's no access road, about 2 major roads that lead into the place.
Listen,
so it's not really the job.
The P&ID case in itself has told Nigerians now that there are going to be many issues where a contract is signed, but actually there's absolutely no intention to execute. It was just a transaction. So we'll study more on this P&ID, and we'll hopefully describe the whole process to Nigerians. So you understand, when government says there's corruption, when they say there's a road to be built and nothing was done, you understand how and what happened. So we'll break it down, we'll let the story brew a bit more, and then we'll get the facts right and give to you. Moving on very quickly now to Daily Sun. Anxiety grips Buhari Atiku supporters. Ebonyi, 10 killed, 4 missing in 2 communities. Tribunal Okorocha, Izunazo, Oyeriri, no fate today. And Obaseki, Oshomole renew hostilities. Any story there?
Yes,
Which one?
Quickly.
Go ahead.
So about 30 persons were traveling for a burial from Enugu to Effium, and they had an accident on the way. They were all injured and taken to the hospital. So 26 of them remained in the hospital. Well, the other 4 were in a hurry to get to the burial. So by the time the 26 were done and they went there, they didn't find the 4. And a few days later, about 10 persons were killed. Like, people came in armed and killed about 10 persons. So they are saying that, are you sure it's not a reprisal attack? And people have been missing in that community. So investigations
the border
are ongoing.
community, because the Ebonyi has had issues consistently. Border
Yes.
community with the next states, and there's been killing going on.
Unfortunately, we have to wrap up, but we didn't touch
rather.
on the xenophobia because our Let's Talk today is going to be on this South African issue. So we're going to talk about the updates we have concerning the attacks in South Africa. We're going to go on a break. When we come back, many governors discussed, actually celebrated their 100 days on Friday. We'd like to hear your views on what your governor is doing. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So last Friday, many governors celebrated 100 days in office. States like Oyo, Lagos, Imo, Ogun, etc. We would like to hear your own thoughts on what your governor has done in your various states. What have you noticed? And what would you like for them to do? Generally, what's your scorecard of your governor after 100 days in office? Please call 070-8066-8014. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweet. Tope, let me start with you because I know you traveled to Ibadan, or your state, for the week. I know you are not probably qualified to say what the governor has done, yes or no, but as an observer, let me know, because I'm protecting your interests. Let me say that. You said, I'm protecting your interests. So, as an observer, 1 week in your state, what did you observe?
Okay, so what I observed was that there was a lot of confidence in the governor.
Okay.
And a lot of people felt that, what I observed personally was that he hasn't done anything big, right. He hasn't done anything grand. I listened to his BCOS interview when he was marking his 100 days on Thursday, and I felt that, yeah, the things that you're celebrating are things that couldn't have been done in 100 days. There must have been accumulation of what had been done by the previous administration. But there are a few things specifically that he has done in 100 days. For the first time in a while, people are getting their salaries before the end of the month. And for a salary state like Oyo, it was a big deal.
Right.
Wow. So that's, for me, scored, for the people in the States, scored a huge point. I felt like, well, because I'm from Lagos State, everybody gets paid in time in Lagos State. Apparently, he has a date, 25th, you get your salary, compulsorily, all through as.
And the fact that he was willing to declare his assets is a big deal.
That's also, that didn't really concern people on ground, actually. Right. But they were more concerned about their salary and pension. So apparently, for the past 3 years, some people pensioners haven't been paid, and he paid 6 months. He just backdated and paid for this year. So in terms of what would affect people's pockets, there's a bit more cash flow. Right. So the people are a bit happier that at least we're getting our money.
But I think also for Oyo State, the body language of the governor just seems like somebody who wants to work.
Yes, and his cabinet reflects the society, reflects young people. So the people I stayed with now, they felt like, even though we're not benefiting personally, we know that the people benefiting are people on ground. Right. And contracts that have been awarded are given to people that are Oyo indigenous, not that is given to foreigners, which was a complaint some of them had. So there's an atmosphere of hope.
That work is being done.
Yes.
Auntie, I live in Ogun State.
Ogun State. I live in Ogun. I work
this is your Ogun State matter. How's your governor doing?
Okay, first of all, he said he's not one to celebrate the 100 days. What he wants to do is more like lay a foundation for the vision. And that's what he's going to be doing for that 100 days. And he's, he marked some aspects, that he wants to focus on. And one of them is this healthcare, because we have a problem of people not being able to access facilities, medical facilities, the primary healthcare centers and all of that. So what they have been doing for a while now is to make sure that they give run free tests for people. And he also said that he's going to focus more into preventive medicine than curative. Okay. Because preventive is cheaper. So if people are healthy, they are taught on how to eat well.
What he's going to do.
Yeah, but he has laid the foundation for all of these things
according to him. Please, Mariah, before we just look at the end, I honestly feel that 100 days isn't enough time to properly assess anybody, because in 100 days, after talking with former Governor Fashola, you realize that a lot of time when you get into power, you're trying to understand what is going on, because no matter how informed or prepared you are, you have no idea what you need.
Some people call it like the honeymoon stage. We're still having fun. Know what to do. But the truth is that, yes, but in a country where there's work to be done, there's really no time. You should hit the ground. So you plan to become this person, this whole
Which is why I like your
so you hit the ground
running. Small goals that people can quickly see. Even when you cannot do the big things, just do small things.
Let's bring the conversation home. We live in Lagos State. What have you observed, Governor Sanwo-Olu? I know you, in fact, no one comes to you.
Please,
but let me go ahead.
Go ahead.
It has gone.
Pause, let me take this call. Good morning, are you there?
Yeah.
Shehu, what state are you calling from?
My name is Shehu Sani. I'm calling from Lagos State.
Lagos State. What are your thoughts so far, Governor Sanwo-Olu?
This is my first time calling.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you. Actually, I love this topic, and I would like to comment on the fact that my governor has done fantastically well.
What has he done?
Yeah, I'm from Zamfara State.
Are you talking about
from Zamfara?
And I always receive calls from home, the pension,
that's Zamfara State.
Banditry, and but the governor has performed magic and wonders there. We hardly hear of death records and other things in Zamfara State. That alone, for the peace we live in, is something for Zamfara.
Fantastic.
What about banditry? How is it?
Yeah, and I would like to commend the governor of Borno State and the governor of Oyo State. These three governors I think they've done wonderfully well, and I would like to commend them.
Right. Thank you very much,
happy that my governor is one of them.
Thank you, Shehu. You're from Zamfara State.
Shehu.
Maybe Shehu from Zamfara. I'm wondering, Shehu. Okay.
Me, because I'm a very observant Lagosian, I'd like to talk about my own governor.
Speak for your area, Shehu.
Yes, so these first 100 days, it would have been tough for me. I didn't even expect the level of changes I've seen. So prior to his governor coming into office, what I used to suffer is to sit on the road on a journey that is 10 minutes and be wondering when I will get past that traffic. But right now, as I speak to you, what we see now is that cargoes are being ferried from Mile 2 along the canal to Apapa. So you no longer have the tankers and the tippers on the road. And whenever they still decide to go by road, we have to suffer that same traffic. That relief alone, I don't want to know how it's happened. And the quick response that he gave us on that Badagry Express Road end was immediate. He visited, his deputy visited, they kicked off. And what we see now is that they're working. Every afternoon when I close, I have a tough battle on how to get home because they're constructing the end of the road back home. I talked about waste on this table. Loma come there. Not only did they clear, I saw them clearing every week. I saw them, they brought women sweeping and digging up.
In your own area, Lagos State is working.
They also put collection points there. So that alone for me, for 100 days, then try.
Good. Let me take this call from Abuja. Mariam, are you there?
Yes.
Miriam, thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Good morning.
What's your scorecard review, 100 days?
I'm calling from Abuja. I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Please, I want to speak about my governor, Oyo State.
Okay.
In fact, I left Ibadan about a week ago. Yes. And I heard so many things he has been doing. He stopped this fee they are collecting from students. Then he said all these children that will be working during school, he stopped them, all those things. So he really tried.
All right. Thank you very much, Mariam, for sharing with us.
You know that my area, I noticed now usually I don't leave my house later than 5 a.m. But now I can leave as late as 6 a.m. because I noticed that there's this, when you get to Penn Cinema, you know, there's a part that they are constructing, which they haven't touched. I don't know if they are working on it right now. But then that other, where we have the LASMA that connects you if you're coming from Abulegba area, that road has been done. The pothole there was usually measured, and it keeps you there as long as a few minutes and hours. So now it's been done. The road is smooth, so we don't take as much time in turning like we used to do before. That road has been done, and it's within these 100 days.
Yes.
For me, Mariah, I feel that Lagos State, I don't want to seem like I'm not acknowledging the good thing that has been done, but Lagos is huge. It's massive, and the people are waiting to feel the impact. So my parents live in Lima's area. They would say that oh my goodness, it's been fantastic. They've cleared the road, they've done this, they've done that. Based on where I stay, the response is slow. And based on the expectations I have, in terms of the order that I want him to bring into, that it's not about doing big things, like I said, for Oyo State. You might not need to do all the roads in 100 days. You can't get through all the roads. You might not be able to clear all the drainages in 100 days, but you can stop Okadas from passing the expressway in 100 days. You can put policy changes that would create an environment that makes people feel like...
But even that is debated. Even that is debatable.
No, I don't want you on a defense.
I didn't attack you. No. So what I feel is that the government should do things that it's visible immediately to all that. There are some that are wrong.
Right.
And they were policy wrong. It is illegal for Okadas to ply road. It's illegal for people to do one way. So when the government comes into power, and it did that in the first week, but we haven't seen a follow-up that is massive.
So I remember when, I think Fashola, and I think even former Governor Amodi, the first 100 days, we practically were seen, they were visible. There was time we were calling Governor Amodi, former Governor Teddy Bear. There was like a Teddy Bear. It's going to take more than just you sharing. But we saw him. He was visible. This our governor. We've not been seeing him. When I see him, I'm telling you my own view. I don't want you to speak.
This is not in defense. But when you're done, I'm allowed.
You can share when I'm done. But the point is that we see things are being done, but we'd like to feel your presence, hear from you. I've not even heard from the governor. I've not heard him speak. I've not on the debate.
Addressing the people.
He hasn't spoken to us. So Lagos is a state that needs action. And sometimes you just feel like a governor should be acting more. But let me come to Nima. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, good. Because you people are here, you felt the other administrations that I complained about on this same show. We've been here long enough. It's the first time that we have a governor starting from the other end into town.
Okay.
So we should at least cut them some slack.
Okay.
This particular governor, and when you talk about Okada riding on the show, I get feedback on the road. People will be like, this lady just wants us disempowered. This is the only form of empowerment that we need. So it's something that will take time. That's a good criteria to even criticize the governor.
So
there's another point of the branded Okada riders now that we have, the pay ride and all the rides that have come into town now. So we should acknowledge that. If we were going to, talk about quick response, I think I would like to see the governor stand on maybe housing immediate, health immediate. Morales, an example of talking to the people on those issues.
Good morning. Are you there? Thanks for calling.
I'll not be unfair.
Hello.
Hello.
I think I have Majid. Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Good morning.
What state are you calling from?
I'm calling from Lagos.
Lagos. Go ahead, please.
Okay. I think Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu is actually trying. Lagos is kind of big, and you can't expect him to be doing what other governors are doing like that. Take, for example, now, there is this bridge they are doing in Agege. I think that bridge, they are not working currently on it, but I believe in the governor, because he can't just be doing everything at once. But I have a belief in him, and so far so good. What they have done in this 100 years, I think he is credible.
Thank you, Majid. I think I like the points Nima made, because he's starting from out inward. Because remember the other administration, we always complain that they're only handling the VI.
So it's was abandoned for a long time. My parents too felt that, and it's point.
So let's give them that benefit. Okay, come to you.
Looking at the map, Lagos is the smallest in all the states.
So it's not we have the most smallest. Don't start that one. 20-something million we're talking.
One of the smallest. No, it's not the smallest.
One of the smallest. Okay. So, but I think there's a difference between working and seen to be working. There's a difference. And some people know how to make better use of PR. So you are seeing them everywhere, they're speaking everywhere, they're making so much noise, but then when it comes to the groundwork and the people feeling the impact, they're not feeling it as much. Maybe his style is just to focus and do the work. So we just have to wait and hear from people who are living in different areas what is happening.
I'd like to hear from our viewers and our tweeters. Let us know what your governor is doing in this 100 days. But let me take this call from Alaji Subara. Are you there?
Yes, I'm there, Morayo.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
All right. First of all, Morayo, I want to ask, is it not criminal or wickedness for somebody as a governor not paying a salary, and somebody just come immediately after paying that salary? What is wrong with the former one? I term it as wickedness. And in fact, as criminal, the way I look at it, it's wickedness. Because I don't see Makinde is not manufacturing money. Where did he get the money that he's paying? The former governor that he refused to pay their salary. So to me, it's wickedness. So that is one. on the issue of Lagos State, our Governor Sanwo-Olu, I want him to do a kind of try and impact a legacy within his own time, so that people will know that whatever he do, he's doing it for the masses.
Okay,
well,
all right.
First of all, on the issue of Okada you are talking about, well, I really understand its problem now, but Lagos security is very key. Initially, we have this law that is controlling Okada. There is a Go Okada. There's a OP Okada. If it is those one, they want them to be operating in Lagos State. Let us know. The congestion, the atrocity the Okada is causing in Lagos is not acceptable.
Thank you very much, Alhaji. Point taken.
Quickly addressing what he said, I don't think that we should put any governor under the pressure of living a legacy, because that's the problem, because most governors now go for their own projects that would carry their own name. Just be efficient in managing what is going on within the state. Follow the blueprints on ground. Don't discontinue previous administration work because you want to leave your own legacy.
Let's take a few tweets, please.
Alhaji Ademola says, as a citizen of your state, 100 days is not enough to access the achievement of a governor. For me, Governor Seyi Makinde has started well with the prompt payment of salaries and pensions. I hope he will look into the environment and make it attractive to foreign investors.
So let me pause you for a second, because most governors have not actually appointed their commissioners.
Yes,
that's a problem. How come? Because I'm seeing that I think only 19. It says 19 out of 29 have not appointed their commissioners. That's a problem. Constitutionally, they're supposed to.
It's a major problem.
Even Osun, since last year, November the 18th, they've not. So that's a problem.
It just tells me how disorganized our leaders are. Because while you were contesting to come back to lead or rule or whatever it is you're coming back to do, you should have known the people you wanted to work with. You should have earmarked the people you wanted to have this portfolio, handle this ministry. It's not after. You should have it. That's part of what you're supposed to present in your manifesto. Is it because we don't do manifestos very well in this country?
But I feel
you should have your team already
the Constitution, Nima, correct me if I'm wrong, does not specify the period with which they must give us a
that's the problem
commissioner. So the Constitution doesn't specify a period in time where you must have a commissioner.
So some governors
doesn't specify that you must have.
It says you must
the
have
number. It didn't specify the number of commissioners you can have. So you can say you can have one, because River State has one. Some states just appointed two.
Let me even say that Castina State Governor Bello Masari decided to only appoint one commissioner who serves as Commissioner of Justice and Attorney General. Then some governor in some wiki of Rivers also replicated what Castina did and only has that same one commissioner.
But he has another one for finance. So the Constitution isn't firm deciding on the number of commissioners you can have.
So 20 out of 36 governors have no cabinet. That's a problem.
It's a problem.
No,
so who would help them execute their
one
plans?
defense for all the governors is that most of them have their issues at tribunal now presently. For those whose election just happened, they're waiting to exhaust them. And I know that Osun has already exhausted his appeals all the way to the Supreme Court and is the substantive governor. I don't know why his own is happening like that. I don't expect him not to have a cabinet in place now, because what it will cause is that he will not have proper functions. For Lagos, for instance, if we had a proper commissioner for waste management, I expect by now there should be what we had during Fashola, the PSP partnership, so that people go into the communities, streets and corners to pick up waste. Waste for me is a major problem, because you see what is just a step away from an epidemic. When we had Lassa fever breakouts in other states, I was wondering why Lagos State was not being profiled for that same problem, because we had serious waste issues here.
Kano State Governor also has only appointed a chief of staff, but has not made any appointment that requires legislative approval.
He's waiting to exhaust
things to change, though.
Yes.
We can talk on air, but we don't have the legal right to pursue and ask a governor to do what they need to do. It is the job of the state assemblies, each of the state assembly, to hold the governor accountable on who is helping you to execute your work, because that's what the executives do for you. They help you manage each of the ministries and ensure they are working.
We have to go on a break now, but as we said, 100 days is like the honeymoon stage, so a lot of people don't expect that much, but we would like to at least feel the body language that, okay, something is about to happen. Right now, the governors should try to engage as many commissioners as possible so that we know at least work is being done.
So we know.
Unfortunately, we have to go on a break. When we come back, xenophobic attack is still hot, and everybody wants to know what are we doing, what's being done, and how we're going to ensure that Nigerians are safe. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. According to fresh reports, a round of violence is currently building up in the streets of Johannesburg, South Africa. as armed protesters are out again, demanding that foreigners must leave their country immediately. Our guest later will come on to tell us and enlighten us on how we can get to the root cause and how we can ensure that Nigerians are safe. But first, before we bring in our guest, this new reports of people actually going on the streets, demanding of their government to ensure that the foreigners leave, was pretty brazen and obviously saying, quite bold, and saying that it's in our face, so we obviously can't run away from this. So Nigeria has sent, I think, air peace on Friday, and according to the papers, 400 people have actually registered, and they're likely expecting more people to register to leave the country. In your view, many people have also come with different observations and different options. Oshomole, the National Working Committee of APC, said a few things. What are your general thoughts on what must be done to ensure that Nigerians are safe and to ensure that our businesses, the Nigerian businesses in South Africa, are also protected?
You know, the first time when this issue started, when it broke out on Sunday, and then we had to talk about it all through, one of the things I kept remembering was when I started observing how the South Africans reacted, how their was that deputy police deputy that came out to speak and everything. What I observed was the body language of the president. And in my mind, I felt that...
Theirs or ours?
Yes, yes. I didn't see that, you know, coming out to stand against it firmly. It was more in words and not in action. And for them to come out on the streets to do this kind of protest with arms, that tells me that their government is in line with them. They are all working together. It's been brewing for a long time now, but now...
That's your own view,
that's my own view. Yes, it may not... I don't think it's speculation,
correct, okay.
Because they have the arms, they have the police... Yeah, they have the police officers to stop those protests, but nobody's doing anything about it. Okay. So I believe that they want us to leave their country. Okay. But my fear now is...
I'll come to your fear a bit more. Let me hear your thoughts on this.
All right. So I feel that there's an economic crisis going on both sides, and people are reacting negatively to the challenge of economy. Nigeria cannot effectively protect itself and its nation against whatever is happening there because we are not economically strong. If this is happening with a stronger economical country, a country that has a stronger economical strength than South Africa, what we'll be saying will be totally different. But we have a country like Nigeria that if we fight back economically, it would affect us more right now.
But the data I have with me says that South Africa economy is not better than Nigeria, that the employment is 28%, that growth rate is just at 1%, murder rate in general is very, very high.
So
let's not assume
I'm not talking about that. I'm saying that
their own economy is better than ours.
Their economy is bad. That's why there's unemployment. That's why people are taking arms. The country here isn't... We also have a crisis on ground. It's not better. We're not better. So the two countries have issues, and the leaders are not dealing with the issue of educating your population and empowering them. So we would fight what we can when we cannot face the government. That's what is happening on both sides. So we have Nigerians going to fight South African-owned companies in Nigeria that are employing Nigerians. What are you doing? Well, how are South Africans going to fight Nigerian companies? That's not your enemy. You should know who your battle is. But the problem is because the government hasn't taken ownership of the economy. I look at what is happening in what happened in China and Hong Kong. And when the crisis was going on, China was able to apply pressure on that country because they had economic power. Nigeria cannot say anything until we are strong and really the giant of Africa. What is the roadmap to become that?
But even if
what is the roadmap in the short term?
That's why we have an African Union now. We don't have to be...
African Union cannot do anything. They're not doing anything.
What of the United Nations?
The United Nations, why is the Western world not speaking up concerning this? They haven't said anything. Because we must clean up our own self.
This is two African countries.
So what is the short-term plan? I don't know. Because we haven't had a clear blueprint from the government saying a short-term plan of how they're going to move, resolve the issue. Not every Nigerian will jump on air peace and come back to Nigeria now.
But at least so far
not every Nigerian business is there.
When it comes to you, Nima, your
Nigerian professionals in South Africa have not complained of anything, but Nigerian businesses. And I listened to Cyril Labako on the Journalist Hangout during the week, and he was talking about how at some point South Africans were begging Nigerian investors to come and do these businesses in South Africa. We did not just carry our bags and go there. It's not because our country was bad at the time. We looked for new business opportunities and we went and invested. But now these lazy-minded South Africans have decided that the way to pay us back... Hold on a minute, Morayo. I'm saying it with all sense of responsibility. A serious-minded person, rather than attack a business, will create look for ways to learn that business and start their own. And I'm saying it again, lazy-minded ones started this whole thing and think that the way to go is to take over those businesses. When you're done stealing from those people or burning down their businesses, what's the next resort?
But the issue...
This is South African government allowing crime. So let's deal with the issue of Nigerians bringing drugs down. I've heard that. I'm tired of hearing it. So Nigerians did not go to Thailand to stop them from killing or creating a criminal system that deters people from carrying drugs down. Nigerians have not said to Saudi Arabians, the people, 28 people on death row, if you kill them, we'll fight you. No. Nigerians are not, we're not interfering in any sovereign country dealing with crime the way they know how in their countries. Legally. So if they can arraign 3-4 Nigerians who have brought drugs down to their country, hold on, Tope, if they can arraign 3-4 Nigerians who they claim are the ones selling drugs in their countries, we will know what exactly we're dealing with here. You cannot just...
It's a system breakdown on their part.
I just even think it's a facade because I have people who live there who say that the South Africans are involved in the drugs. It's not just the Nigerians and other nationals.
They're not even killing the drug. They're not killing drug.
Hold on.
They're not killing the drug people. They are killing businesses. They are breaking businesses. They are looting businesses.
No, hold on.
If they are fixing drug people, we know we are dealing with those ones.
They give an excuse that one of the reasons this xenophobic attacks is happening is because Nigerians are selling drugs to their children. That's what they said.
And I have
a call from Salami. Salami, are you there? Thanks for calling.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Go ahead, please. You're live.
All right. Good morning, all.
Morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I want to liken this xenophobic attack to what happened some couple of years back in Borno State, where there were some Igbo businessmen. So the insurgency actually made their businesses to the locals within Borno State to acquire most of their businesses when they just flee for their lives. The funny thing actually that South Africa does not know is this. The moment they are chasing all these Nigerians out of South Africa, who are those that will, are they competent enough to continue to do those businesses that they are doing?
Thank you.
Who is actually on the losing end? And I want to actually use this opportunity to talk to the federal government. They should take a drastic step at this. It's getting out of hand.
Okay, thank you for that point. Taking a drastic step.
To be killed, like a military man in the U.S. Army should be killed. One, you see how the U.S. will retaliate to it.
They have economic power.
Okay, wait. Let me thank you very much. You said taking a drastic step. Our government has sent an envoy. Is that sufficient?
It's not sufficient.
That's the best they can do.
The national chairman of the APC.
No, let's go to what Tope is saying. I want us to discuss the real issue of economic influence because that's where the problem is.
Yes.
So Tope, what are your own views on this issue of economic involvement?
So my challenge is that every South African-owned company in Nigeria are very strong, employing Nigerians. Many of them gainfully employed. They will be the one to stand with their lives that I don't want you to vandalize because you are going to hurt me. So when we are talking about we have unemployment issues in Nigeria, and that is undeniable. You now want to create crises with the companies that are already employing your people.
But Oshomole has advised that we should nationalize their assets in our country.
And that was Ichimi Kosakudo even come and talk about it on the show.
Why?
While I understand that it was an advice, I feel that he is seen as the statement wasn't rebuffed in any way. The advice he was doing was, he has a right to advise, but the CBN and the Minister of Finance should speak up for what the government thinks concerning it, because foreigners are listening to it, and we are looking for foreign investment. We are a country struggling to get people to trust our system that we would not change policies anyhow.
We're also in a country that we're struggling to let Nigerians trust us that we can protect our citizens.
Protecting our citizens, we started the process, and I already said that what we did was good, sending the plane to go and bring them in. Beyond that is for us to have an economic blueprint that would empower Nigerians. Why the issues going on there we can't solve, honestly.
Okay,
because it's a foreign country and they have their own laws.
So, yes.
We can't...
Wait, Tope. We have, and I want to believe that as a former Labour Union president, Oshomole knows exactly what he's saying.
Yes, he does.
We've exhausted dialogue and patience. This started in 2017. We can't keep watching. Our government now needs to earn our trust that they are able to back and bite.
You need money to bite.
We need, no,
you need
that's an error. The international community and investors you're talking about. The international community that you're talking about are seeing under their eyes videos and pictures coming from South Africa, how our businesses are being, people are being attacked, how other Africans are being attacked. Yeah. So if every country in Africa decides to what they call, to cut off from South Africa and take over their businesses and, you know, stifle their laws against South Africa. Nobody in the world should blame them.
Nigeria does not have the teeth to bite.
Stop saying that, Tope. Stop saying that. See,
maybe we are in this show. We will see 1 month down the line what bite they will bite.
Now they underestimate our people. If South Africans could respond with this whatever Nigeria, whatever Nigeria they are doing in Nigeria now for Nigerian market, they understand the market. They know how important that market is.
We are their market.
Yeah.
We are their lifeline, really.
Let them go back to their country and see
why don't we transfer those assets to our people?
Hold on a minute, let me finish. There's a lack of political will among their political elites to do the thing in Africa.
But we can't.
That's the real issue. That political will, the Nigerian interests. They don't want to protect it. That's the problem. They are the ones that are corrupt. They're the ones that don't allow us to have this kind of assets.
Test their leadership. Everybody is saying they do drugs here, they do that. And those people have laws in your country.
It happened with high TV.
Somebody.
And I like to say this. It happened with high TV.
And establish a crime.
The South African government, in fact, let me not say this.
Let me even ask Tope, how many South African businesses do we have in Nigeria?
I don't know, but I know there are a lot of them.
But our government...
Yeah, we know. No, I don't know the number. I don't know the number. And I don't want to market them.
Okay.
Because the ones we know them. Okay. And we don't want to market them. So don't make it look like we don't have companies that are employing people.
Okay.
Because there are opportunities for us to have businesses. We use it. That's even the phone I use. So at the end of the day, we have ties to them that we don't have options to solve, and we don't have the political will to fight them. So until we are able to summon up the political will to fight them, we'll continue to be abused by another country outside.
That makes sense. And that's where National
We don't have the political will to do it.
That's where National Assembly comes in.
That yes, it might affect us. But we are willing to take that pain. Yes, me. I'm the one that will take it the most.
You can't take it the most because you're not.
Hold on a minute,
of people. An association came up of all the more. You know, there's a supermarket chain that is reputed to be owned by South African that sell the franchise, but it's sold to Nigerians. Guess what? So when you what are you doing? It's sold to Nigerians. It is managed by Nigerians, and they are screaming that please don't drive these people out because they are managing.
That is just one business. That is just one business.
I just need to clarify. Yes, the malls and the businesses are owned by Nigerians. I have it on authority that Nigerians own, at least the one in Surulere.
Yes.
A government in this country owns it. What we simply have is franchise. We know those ones. We know the ones registered with the CAC that are 30% foreigners. We can stifle, we can't work with.
Okay, let's go on a break.
We can't allow our people to be killed for
when we come back, we'll have a guest to help us enlighten us more on the options our government has to use concerning this matter. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Joining us on the show is a lawyer and public affairs analyst, Kayode Oyemakinde. Welcome to the show, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much. You can call us on 070-806-68014. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. So you heard our arguments before the break, and everybody's talking about this issue. In your thoughts, what's the best option Nigeria can take to ensure not just the safety of our citizens, but to ensure that we take back to take back what South Africa has taken from us, pretty much?
Thank you very much. It's a two-way traffic. Basically, we need to take care of the home front. That's Nigeria as a country, because we really have a bad image out there. Within Africa and outside of the continent. Meanwhile, the South African government, they themselves, they need to put their home in check, because you have high level of illiteracy in South Africa.
Thank you.
You have the drug problem, you have the HIV problem, you have a lot of problems. The problems we have in Africa, basically, you have it in South Africa. But the fact is that they have very, very weak laws. Our laws are much more stronger than that of the South African government. And they have a lukewarm attitude to things at home, things happening at home. They prefer the international front, focusing on the international front. But they say charity begins at home. Now, I expect their government to check the violence happening there. That is the interim measure. I would take a cue to what happened in Lagos and some other, Uyo also, and some other states recently. We arrested a lot of Nigerians who vandalized and, How many have they arrested since?
That's all.
Not heard of any.
So how do we make them do that?
We have to put pressure on them, and that is where we have to work on our foreign policy. Our foreign policy, it's a little bit weak. We focus more on the economic side, the big brother thing, but we've forgotten that lives are being lost here. What the president is doing, they sent Ambassador Ahmed Abubakar to South Africa some couple of days ago for what will I call a fact-finding mission, or will I say an envoy, to meet with their president, Cyril Ramaphosa. But the fact is, this is what ought to have been done years ago.
Thank you.
Right now, we should be using the avenue, taking the path of diplomatic tit for tat.
Right. Well, Tope said something earlier that
we can.
He said something about our barks are just worse than our bites. That we really don't have the economic power to actually enforce any type of sanction against South African government.
We do.
How? So how do we? So let me tell Tope that we do.
Please. We do. You may look at Nigeria as a very, very useless country out there. No, I'm just saying that.
You may see that. Your mind.
You may see
that. No, I don't see that as a useless country. I see my leaders, a few of my leaders.
Whether you're leaders or not, leaders are a cut out of the society. That's because the president was one of us, was a normal citizen before. Okay, President Jonathan is now a regular citizen. Though, will I call him a elder statesman? So, he came from us. So, what we have down there is just a mini Nigeria. Fact. So, you may think Nigeria is one very useless country. They don't really respect us here and there. But I'm telling you, people fear Nigeria out there.
For real?
I can tell you.
So why are they still doing this? Why is the attack still ongoing? Why is the government there not responding to the threats that Nigerians have made? Why are we looking like they don't respect our opinion? Because that's the body language we get when we see the attack consistently continuing without enough arrests taking place on their own side to hold their own people accountable. It's just words. They just gather a meeting and tell them, don't do it again. We're not seeing arrests taking place. Nigeria has done their own part. Why are they not doing anything? If they respect us and they feel we can do something.
They also said they're not paying compensation to all the Nigerian businesses.
Good. Nigeria is still coming to that level. Now, I want to answer what she said.
Where's our teeth? I don't know where the teeth
is. We have teeth. let me put it that way. We have a lot of teeth. And you say one thing. If Nigeria acts against South Africa, they will have a lot of challenges. In short, they will almost wind South Africa up or merge them to something. That is just.
You don't believe it, but listen.
I'm just exaggerating, and I will tell you one thing. If we say they should not land in Nigeria, we should nationalize MTN, or we should let us go violence to violence, they will not match us. We will uproot MTN and their likes. We will even remove their cables. We're going to sell it in Alaba.
Who would they affect?
It will be that bad.
Okay. Who would they affect?
It will affect us.
Thank you.
No, we need to look at we don't have jobs right here. Our population is more than the jobs we have on ground.
Exactly.
So if we say we should attack them, either violently or what have you, it will affect us.
So where's our teeth again?
We still have teeth. Now, hold on. Let me delve a little bit into diplomatic treaties and the likes. My father is a diplomat, or was a diplomat, so I think I have an idea a little bit about how they relate. Nigeria can call an emergency meeting with the African Union.
Why haven't we done that?
And we are still taking it step by step. In fairness, if I were the president, I would have done some certain things. But I had a discussion with him some hours ago, yesterday, and he said, we are doing the right thing as at now. Though, I have a belief that the things we're doing now, we ought to have done it
before.
Years. They started this thing. This thing became prominent.
So what are
since
the diplomatic processes?
The MTN company
we will have
talked about.
Yes.
At some point, Nigeria flagged them down for transferring money, not legitimately through the CBN, and gave them a fine for that. If Nigeria could do that, you know, your investment here, your money should go through the legitimate authority back to your country for whatever reason you had to take them back. And, you know, and he obeyed. And it happened here. What are you saying that, you know, if we raise investors today to take over that company this minute?
We don't need to raise investors.
No, when you nationalize, you need to do certain things. Put into
we change our board and the like.
Change everything, change the board and put Nigerians there. Are Nigerians going to lose their job with the facilities and companies and everything disappear from Nigeria because of that?
No, but that is just will I say, the telecommunication or the bank.
It's just one
There
example.
is a ripple effect. Now, if you go to a particular country and they act in a particular way because of a particular issue, you should remember that there are some people looking at some countries to invest their money.
Thank you.
If they look at Nigeria and say that we are a little bit hostile, because they will see that small xenophobia, you people are acting. That's how they will see it.
That's how they will see it. Change of policy.
That's how they will see it.
Change of policy. Arbitrary change of policy.
It's a wicked human being.
So, diplomatic measures should have preceded this with a clear statement, because we can see China and America fighting consistently, and everybody is saying, I will impose fine, I will impose fine, I will impose fine.
That's another level of fight entirely. The China.
Do we have the capacity to fight that kind of
If you put your head inside that thing, they will use you to break coconuts.
Because hold on a minute. This is
I want to go somewhere. If President Buhari calls other African nations that let us do so and so to South Africa. South Africa will not be able to play football with anybody. They will not be able to trade with anybody. They will stifle them in that corner.
So we don't have the political will.
We can. We just need to call a meeting. The meeting may not even last more than an hour.
Right.
The meeting may not last more than an hour with some other...
That's an example of what we can do.
That's an example of what we can do. We will stifle them out of existence.
So now we're ready to bring about 4 people have registered that they are ready to call.
About 400. Even more than 400. Meaning, they said about 400 still counting.
Still counting, yes. And we're ready to bring them back.
Yeah.
And I know that because I have people there who have not even indicated interest that they want to come back. Because they are doing well.
Are they
professionals? Yes, they are in highbrow areas. So the people we are bringing who have decided to come are probably those ones who are still struggling. They have not found, yes. And most of them may not, because according to what I read, most of them didn't even have their papers complete. So when they come back here, what is the plan? What are we doing with them? Because I'm sure we're still going to have many of them
we'll speak to the government on that one. But what do you think?
What do you think we can do with them?
When they come back,
yes.
Some of them will come back and use some few days or some hours or months, and they will go to another country.
Because
they may not necessarily stay in Nigeria.
Let's take a few tweets.
Because some people are not used to staying in this country.
Nigerians are travelers. Bright Life Samuel says, Nima, if you say government should nationalize South African companies in Nigeria, please ask Xenophobia how many companies Nigerians have in South Africa. TMO is correct. Our government should build our economy. Although Chijoke says, an average South African black are inferior, unsafe, insecure. Check what happened during the apartheid period. In all the videos, we saw how many South African whites are part of the xenophobic attack. Freedom says, Nigeria has the power to bring South Africa to the table. Yes, we have economic issues. They also have it too. We have high crime rates. They also have theirs too. If Adam is right, we should, I think Adam is right, we should nationalize their assets over here. They will take us seriously, and that's the starting point.
Let me take this call before I take more tweets. Morning, are you there? Hello, CJ, are you there?
Hello, I'm here.
Go ahead, please. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, basically, I feel our government has messed up completely. Because I'll use a scenario to explain this. You see, Israel and Palestine are always at loggerheads at each other. When a Palestinian or a Palestinian group gets an Israeli soldier and kills the soldier, Israel will bombard them instantly.
Immediately.
So it's not the norm right now that whenever there's a kind of a war between Palestine and Israel, and Palestinians catch an Israeli soldier, they return that soldier. And if that soldier is killed, they arrest those people that killed the soldier and send them to Israel. Yeah. The Nigerian government was supposed to act instantly. And that action was supposed to be instant, to the point where South Africans would be afraid to touch in Nigeria. Right now, it's too late. It is too late, because whatever they do now has overshadowed everything. You need to act instantly and decisively. That's just my point. And so
thank you very much, Sanjay.
Adex Yusuf says, do we call a cow brother because we want to eat meat? Let the government take a decisive and stringent measure. After all, we disagree to agree. Abayomi says, a house that is divided against itself cannot stand. One of the major catalysts to all these disgraceful treatments of Nigeria and Nigerians outside is because we easily project ourselves in a negative light. Charity indeed begins at home.
Ostino says, the problem is that Nigerians are no more respected in any part of the world due to the fact that our government do not respect its citizens. What is taking place in South Africa is a failure of African countries to cater for their citizens. Okay, Jolly says, if Nigerian government could do more about people leaving the country, maybe, just maybe, things like this would stop. And secondly, Nigerians do mess up things outside the country.
Aloha, Aya.
Daniel, are you there?
I'm here.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
All right, I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show, Daniel.
Thank you. The truth about all this thing is none of our leaders, maybe relation or friend or a family member has been affected in all this. I am telling you, if any of our leaders, maybe a brother or a sister or a family member out there in South Africa has been killed or burnt or business destroyed and all that, you will see our government start, they will stand up and you will see them doing something. It's just like our roads too. You will never see our government doing roads you know, for computers to go through until it has killed one of them, until it has brought down one of them. You will now see them, oh, we want to do this road and all that. So that's just my...
All right, thank you very much. But as I said, in fairness, I mean, yes, you said several times that Nigerians have taken action many years ago. But this has happened. And we've seen some action. There have been calls, there have been envoys being sent, they'll talk to the president of South Africa. They've been sending a plane over to pick up our citizens. And they're also trying to get diplomatic sanctions across against South Africa. So something is being done. It's not like we're leaving everything to chance. However, there was a point you made earlier about the fact that if something was done earlier, Nigerians lackadaisical attitude to things. It happened with the $9.6 billion issue. We just allow things to go, not taking action immediately. That has obviously gotten us to where we are today. In your view, what can we do going forward that this doesn't happen? Because we don't want Ghana tomorrow to do the same thing to our citizens. We don't want Kenya to do the same thing. We don't want... So what can we do to fix it now such that countries across the continent don't begin to send our citizens home?
Good. Number one, we need to take care of our home front. Our laws should be strengthened. Where the issue of NIA, the world should see that, yes, an infraction happened and there is justice. So whenever they see things like this, they will know that Nigeria is a no-nonsense country. Meanwhile, when I believe if the ambassador that was sent, that's Ahmed Abubakar, that was sent to the South African government, if he meets with the president, let's say today, and they decide that this is what happened, and this is the outcome. If they give them probably some hours or some days or some weeks, and this thing persists, Nigeria can take action. I believe they are trying to explore all avenues of diplomatic avenues that they can explore.
Yeah.
If it fails, they move against South Africa.
Okay, let me take this call from Shay. Shay, are you still there?
Yeah, good.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Okay, good morning.
Morning.
Yes, my name is Obalome. I'm calling from Lagos Badagry Express.
Okay.
Hello.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Okay. I want to say the issue of xenophobic attack. Let us narrow it down to our family life. Let's say you have a family friend. Then this your family friend, your children do come to his house, and he's come to your house. Then at the time, each time your children visit there, then the children of your friend will beat them up. By the time you come to complain, the father of those children will tell you, look, tell your children never to come to my compound. I mean, to me, I don't think you have to force your children you force the man for your children to be going there.
Just feed your own children in your house.
You train your children. What the government supposed to do, where this is a recurring issue. So even before now, they should have had a decision they will take. Where this thing happens, just take an immediate step. You make a provision, order every Nigerian to come down home. Though I know, like we are saying now, even where the Nigerian government said it, you have only 200 Nigerians that have registered to come home. So it is an issue of God telling Moses, remove Israelites from Egypt. When
they said they preferred it.
You leave us to die there. That's the situation. Everybody, we want them to come home, but many of them will never come home.
To do what?
Thank you very much.
Come and establish it.
Wow.
So I want to build on this question, because there's always that fasting period before things get better. We've seen China do this ahead over the years with America, that is supposed to be the world best in everything, even recently on the phones that they produce. So that people are willing to say, okay, I would do away with these apps that we've gotten used to and let our country stand tall. But an average Nigerian is asking government to do something. They are willing to pay their own end of the price. Yes, our investments are there, but we are at risk of losing lives. And we are willing to come here and till the soil the same way we sacrifice. Because it's not easy in South Africa. It's just the opportunity. An average 2, 3, 4, among every 1,000 South African, you have a market because they don't know what the services we provide. Nima. But we are willing to come here and wait that period out, no matter what government is saying.
Yeah, that's well-meaning Nigerians. Yeah. But there are other Nigerians that are probably selfish. Thinking about their own business.
Our leaders. Those are the Nigerians.
Those are the Nigerians I'm talking about.
When our leaders are not willing to make the sacrifice themselves, why would I want to make the sacrifice? When my leader is not going to hospital in Nigeria, why would I want to make that sacrifice? When my leader is going to benefit every good thing over there, our children, I'm seeing them doing graduation in the abroad. Why would I want to suffer? Because I must see that the leadership has started with the self. That leader that has started with sacrifice has paid the price. So when we are fighting our who are saying that South Africa is not doing us well, we haven't protected and showed image that we care about our people in Nigeria. So they look at you like, you're not going to do anything. Your president has not even read the newspaper to know what is going on. So, and we're not doing anything to make it obvious. I want to ask you a question.
How many people are even ready to boycott the SIM, MTN? Because Oshomole suggested that
Please, I want to ask you a question, because you said you have a father that is a diplomat. When they are negotiating like this, shouldn't the entire world be aware of the threats of what they can do? Because when you say you are going to negotiate with them, but you're not saying what the threats would be, it makes it look like you don't have anything to attack them with, because the only person that has threatened South Africa now is Oshomole, who is just advising. No. Why haven't we had anything from anybody saying that if they don't negotiate and give us what we want, we will do A, B, C, D, E?
Let me tell you this. South Africa is a country that they get a lot of income from tourism. If you know that, if you don't want to know, their tourism has been affected seriously. I'm a member of a particular group, and the lady there said she wrote them a letter that she's not going to do some, I think, something about films again. They wrote her that begging that she should return. A lot of artists, Tiwa Savage and the likes, they've done same thing. Yes, if you know what they've lost, if you know what the South Africans themselves they've lost, if you know the pressure on their government.
We get that.
Savage opted by herself. It's not that the government compelled all of them.
Yes. So when you do yours, everybody will doing hers. They will start feeling it gradually. Now, I want to say something about fake news. There are some things that we've heard over the media that are not really true. You see some people jumping down from one building and the likes like that. Some of them are not really, they don't even happen in South Africa. Some happened in South Africa. The issue of burning a man, you know.
It wasn't
I think it happened in no, it was in South Africa, but in January, he stole a bag or something from a woman and so on and so forth. So people are building up sentiments, true or untrue. So we have to take, if we say we want to nationalize their telecommunication arm down here, and eventually they get to know that some certain things are not true, and we'll have acted. How are we going to feel international community?
Certain things are not true, like what?
Like some of the things that we are seeing on social media, some are not true. Not that xenophobia does not exist. It exists very well. And I can tell you that xenophobia will not leave South Africa in the next, even in the next 50 years. I don't see it leaving. Because this thing is already in their loins.
So what should we do as Nigerians? Should everybody just come back?
No, we don't need to come back. I believe that the government should act. We should act at home to take care of ourselves at home. That we should get our brains thinking.
The people there,
the people there, we should act against the government when we see that they are not taking some act. For example, the issue of compensation that they said, no, it's not a part of their policy. We have to meet it up. We should match it word for word.
If our economy is good, people will come back home.
We should match it against them, because that is wrong.
This topic is still pretty hot. Let's take a few more tweets before we round up.
Bilikis Mafe says, we need to fix our country. South Africa isn't the only problem we've got. There are so many things happening globally that's affecting Nigerian migrants. Let's just fix our homeland and we'll walk tall anywhere. After all, there are professionals in South Africa working legally.
Oladi Buba says, out of the 20 biggest companies in Africa, South Africa has 18 economically. South Africa is #1, so I don't see the rest of Africa turning their back against them. The best we can do is to fix our country.
Ogbonna Ifoma says, Sha, I can't bear this again. How are we being killed in different countries? Where did we go wrong? We need God to intervene speedily before it's too late.
Okay, that's all we can take. Thank you very much, sir, for coming on the show.
You're welcome.
Sharing your thoughts with us. That's all we can take on the show today. We'll see you again tomorrow. Same time. Have a good day. Bye-bye.